Thank you so much. I love it. A whole new world. Good morning. And as I welcome you, I acknowledge that nothing happens by chance, that we are all here by divine appointment, that we heard the call and we answered. And as I acknowledge our viewing audience, you tuned in at this moment because there's something here for you. And as we gather, as the two or three gather together, what happens is this wholeness that we are feeling, the whole becomes greater than the sum of its parts. But the sum of each part is the energy of that I am presence. And I love in Kabbalah, where they talk about the shards of light, that the energy was so amazing that it burst. It just absolutely burst into shards of light, and that each being became this light. So as we come together and acknowledge that we are talking about free to create a new reality, that how it's ever been for us can be recreated in the twinkling of an eye. And I have seen it, I have experienced it, I have been counseling people for over 40 years, and I've seen it before my eyes. The Bible states, "Be not conformed to the things of this world. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind." Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. That at any moment we can make a shift. And we can make that shift in the twinkling of an eye. And it's interesting, I was having a conversation with Patrick Harrington, and I was sharing with him that life really is a spiral. And that we're either going up the spiral or we're going down the spiral. Life does not go backward nor tarry with yesterday. Life is the forward progression of the soul. Thus saith the prophet, and I love that. So we're either going up the spiral, and what I notice in my own life, and I'm sure you've noticed in your life, that when we're ready to make a huge shift, there's disorientation. There's like, oh my gosh, what's going on here? And once we make that shift into the next revolution on the spiral, there's like, there is just a great knowingness that I am in my divine right place, doing my divine right thing, and at the divine right time, that we are in the world to have our spiritual experience. And we will have all the experiences. We will be part of the human condition. And as we're part of the human condition, to be gentle with ourselves. The Desiderata says it so beautifully. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. The world, with all its sham and drudgery and upset, is still a beautiful place. So as we come together with that possibility of creating a new reality, that we make that choice, and out of that choice something is going to happen, because we are moving to the next level. And when we move through that disorientation and that feeling of wobbliness, spiritual wobbliness, and we move, then we are on solid ground. We are on a foundation. But I know at the very deepest level that we are here to grow and to unfold and to be all that we can be. And when we're not, we're in the ego. We're judging outside of ourselves. We're giving our power away to there's so much stuff going on the planet that we could give our power away to. But to know that this too shall pass. This is energy. Everything in the universe is energy. This too shall pass. But my love, my truth, my wisdom, my energy, my aliveness, these are the eternal verities of life. And to have that faith as a grain of mustard seed, so that we can say to the stuff when it comes up, remove hence. This no longer serves me. Remove hence. And it does, because with God, all things are possible. That mountain is going to move. It's amazing. I had a colleague, and he used to look out from their center, and there was like this just huge mound of dirt, across the street. And it used to really, really bother him, because there was a lovely view beyond this huge mound of dirt. And one day he said, I could do a spiritual mind treatment. Imagine that. I mean, has it come to this where we have to pray? I mean, my gosh. So I could, go within and do a treatment. And a treatment is a positive prayer of alignment. It's acknowledging that it's already done. See, there is no time or space in the one mind that knows all. So as we speak our word into the law of mind, the energy moves out in waves and returns to us in full-blown expression of that which we have sent forth. So he said, I was praying and I was just, going within and I was treating and just knowing the way is made clear, that clarity is power, and there's a beautiful view. And I visualized in my mind's eye this amazing, amazing view. And it was so interesting because that was a vacant lot. And he said he went out for the walk and he saw a guy with one of those big, kind of tractor things. What do you call them? They're big. Yes, you know what I'm talking about. And so the guy said, we're doing some construction down the road. We need a lot of dirt. Do you know who this belongs to? And he said, well, it's been, a vacant lot for many years, and this mound has been there, but I'll make a few calls. And so he called, and lo and behold, he spoke to the person that was getting ready to sell the land and was going to have to get rid of the dirt, the mound. So I love the way the universe works, that we can speak our word into the law of mind, and we have just a grain, just a grain of mustard seed. I'm like the mustard seed lady. I give mustard seeds away and people go, and I put them in a beautiful little, like a little gemstone jar, and they look and they go, oh, it's a sweet little jar. I said, no, there's something in it. And they look further and go, oh, like a little seed. And I said, wonder what kind of seed that is. A mustard seed. And if you have the faith as a grain of mustard seed, you want to change your reality. You want things to shift. You want to open the space. I mean, I counsel so many people that want a relationship, and they're looking outside themselves. Be the change you want to see in the world. Be that person, and you'll create that energy in. But when we're desperate and we're looking outside of ourselves and we're so desperate, people run from that neediness. But when you know who you are and complete and whole within yourself, people want to be with you. They want to come over. They want to be in your energy field. It's about feeling comfortable in our own skin. It's about realizing I feel comfortable in my own company, that it's really wonderful company. And instead of looking outside of ourselves. So when we open the space to allow God to do what God does best, and realize with the holographic universe, David Bohm was who I studied with, and then I recently saw a wonderful DVD with Michael Talbot, who is also a student of David Bohm. And the holographic universe is, you can take a mirror, you can break it, and yet energetically the whole of the mirror is going to shine forth from that little shard of glass. That energetically, that there is wholeness in the universe. And that as we begin to see in that parallel universe that there is only wholeness, there is only completeness, that if I want to create a new reality in all 5 key action areas of my life, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, relationally, and financially, I've got to stop looking outside myself and realize it's all within me. And that as I speak my word and I accept my good and my unexpected good, wonderful things begin to happen. Electromagnetic energy comes into the field, and we begin to feel that at a very, very deep level. And one of the things that Michael Talbot talked about were so many, and also Bernie Siegel, who wrote a book that I highly recommend. In fact, I gave one to Dr. Roger, Love, Medicine, and Miracles. And he talked about people who really took their health into their own hands. And Dr. Siegel is an oncologist and deals with cancer patients. Those that took their health into their own hands and began to put the works of the faith and participate in their own healing were the ones that had the healings. The others that felt victimized by it, that felt that it was all caving in on them, those were the ones that didn't survive. And I also believe that there's another divine plan, because we know death is not extinguishing a light, it's turning off the lamp, because dawn has come. And when we get it, that the veil is very thin, that there's really only one life. That life is God's life. That life is our life now. Then something begins to open up. So as we look into the very energy of life, and we see past the appearances, the conditions, and the effects, we have to assume the virtue, as the Dalai Lama says, though we have it not. We assume the virtue of our health. And those moments when I'm experiencing dis-ease, I go within, first of all, I ask my ministry of prayer to treat for me, and then I go within at a time that I felt wonderful and fabulous. And I focus on that energy of aliveness. See, what happens is our body wants to be normal. It wants to feel aliveness, and it wants to feel good. But we buy into what we're experiencing at that moment, and it is temporary. This too shall pass. And to have the faith as a grain of mustard seed is to know that this too shall pass. But the energy of the universe is for us. It loves us. It wants us to succeed. It really wants us to succeed. And you know that I'm an idealist. The glass is not even half full for me. It's always full. You know, it's half what? Water and half air. So the glass is not half empty or half full. For me, it's always full. And when we get that, and we put that out there, then we don't collapse ourselves into our contractions of life or our expansions. So isn't it wonderful how these principles really work? It's so fabulous. Life's never been better. Oh, it couldn't be better if I were twins. And the minute something hits, oh my God. You know, Buddha said that life is like hands clapping, right? I've got it, I've got it, I've got it. Oh, where'd it go? It's gone. I've got it. It's gone. I've got it. It's gone. I've got it. But see, the lesson, the discourse is that it really is one great applause. That we have it, really. And we have to look past those moments that we feel separated from it. We look past that energy. And I'm not talking about grief and losing people that we love to the other side, because we move through grief. And that grief, you know, it seems like we're never going to move through it. And finally we do come out on the other side. When my husband made his transition, the day came, the day finally comes, when we stop weeping that it's over and we begin to rejoice and celebrate that it happened. There's a shift of energy there. So as we begin to see life, that the glass is always full, that energetically that we have an opportunity, that yes, as we grow and unfold and we season, we learn to pace ourselves. And as we pace ourselves, we have more energy to do the will of He who sent us. And we are doing the will of He who sent us when we're experiencing joy. When I'm just so happy for you that it's my success, that your success makes mine possible. And it's interesting, I went to the mailbox Friday, and there was a couple of certificates from the President of the United States of America, and it was the Call to Service Award of Excellence for service to our country. And they were very, very beautiful, and I thought, this is really amazing, because I received the same award in 2010. And it didn't have really a letter with it. It had a beautiful little pin. And when I went through the things, there was a little card. And the card was from the director of the National Association of Female Executives, Robbie Motter, who had nominated me again. And it was so interesting because Fleet had also received this award and this year. And I thought, isn't it great that we are in a community where we're doing sacred service, and that we are nominated, that nomination is accepted, and that we're receiving this acknowledgement. But we would be doing this anyway. I would be doing what I'm doing as Fleet does anyway, because I love what I do, and I do what I love, and I know that I'm never going to outgive God or the universe. And that when things look like they're contracted, great, we're planting seeds, we're going deeper, we're watering those seeds. We're not running around saying, oh, the sky is falling, did you see, da-da-da-da-da. No. We're planting seeds, we're watering, we're fertilizing those seeds. And guess what? They take root. And when they take root, they come forth from the rootedness up to the stem up to the branch to the blossoms. These are our unfoldments of life. So we cannot allow ourselves to give our power away when things don't look the way we want them to look, or they don't fit our pictures. It's an opportunity to go within to the secret place of the Most High. And what that means in the ancient ones is to go within. All this stuff out here is meaningless. It's been around for centuries. But for us to have the power, the presence, the love, the energy to say to this situation, remove hence, and it will. Because with God, all things are possible. All things. I believe that with all my heart. I've seen it over and over and over again. I love when Michael Talbot talked about a woman who had huge tumors in her body, and she went down to Mexico to get Laetrile because the doctor said, we've done all we can for you. You know, it's up to God. And she went down to Mexico and she had Laetrile treatments. And he said those tumors dissolved like a snowball on a hot stove. They returned to their native nothingness from whence they came. And she believed, you know, even though all of the studies have said Laetrile does nothing, she believed that if she took this treatment, that they would dissolve. Because with God, all things are possible. When they say, it's up to God now, thank you. I'm glad it's not up to you. Thank you. I accept that. God and I are the majority. Whatever we choose to call our God. And that we are about our oneness. And we feel that oneness. And that we only meet ourselves, don't we? Nasruddin, he is a very funny character in Sufi mysticism. Idries Shah wrote a book called Nasruddin. And he was very, very forgetful. And he was so forgetful that he would make appointments and people would come to his little village house and he wouldn't be there. And one of his friends got really disgusted and he just wrote it out, put stupid oaf. And Nasruddin got home and he saw stupid oaf and he goes, oh yes, my friend was here. He left his name. He didn't take it personally. It wasn't personal, right? It's never personal. It feels personal, but it's not. And so when we can take it with a grain of salt, oh, they left their name, you know. Every once in a while I get, you know, somebody on Facebook says something and I just bless them and block them and wish them well, go with God, but by all means go. And not everyone's going to be our best friend and we're not going to vibrate at the same energy all the time. And you know what? It's okay. We're not going to be all things to all people. And we're never going to be everywhere at the same time. So just do the best we can. If we want to create a new reality, let's open the space to allow God to do what God does best by means of us, because we are created in the image and likeness of something so beautiful and so powerful. So I say to you, namaste, that we are going what? Higher yet, because we have made a conscious choice to go where? Higher yet. And as we go higher yet, something begins to happen in our own lives. And that we can never, ever go back to the way it was because we have created a new reality. God bless you.